Hello, peoples. Just figured I'd jump on Friday night. Not much going on. I'm playing catch up on some jobs, so figured what the heck, let's just jump on here a little bit. Kind of do do some work and chat randomly. Of course, I got two people on. How you guys doing? If you're there, let me know. Jump on the chat. For some reason, it's not letting me change. There we go. Audio coming in okay? What's going on, guys? Yeah, it's early in Rise part of the world. It's what, like 5? Not too late. You're probably just hanging out there doing some work yourself. I'm about to send this job over. Let's see here. Yeah, audio's good. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm sure the video on the watching the printer is not that great. That's basically just a webcam, but yeah, sun's out here too. It's really actually nice today. And of course I face the park, which is nice. It's hard to watch the chat over there. Which printer is that? That is the Epson S40600 wide format, 65-inch. For some reason, the zoom is not quite working right. It's kind of like zoomed way in on it. I don't know why. Because of my preview, it shows it not so zoomed in, but it is what it is. I just moved that camera over in there, so it's probably why. It just, something about the settings not quite right. So what's everybody else up to? Humid, yeah, humid here. Oh, my camera, there goes the camera again, bouncing around. I don't know why OBS is doing that. Let me see if it comes back. There you go. Nope, lost it again. OBS is finicky. Yeah, let me see what it's showing here. It is 91 and about 58% humidity, so a little on the crappy side. Let me see if I can get that video back. For some reason, it's bouncing in and out. I don't know why OBS is doing that. I'm gonna hit the camera. Basement don't leak? Yeah, no kidding. We don't have no special basements here. Those are hard to find in Texas. All right, hopefully that's back, at least for now. Could bounce. Let me see. Tell me if this transition's working. Showing out in the production room. Let me bounce back over here. Kind of see some of what I'm working on. Does it let me? There it is. Boom. There we go. Yeah, I am printing a door wrap for one of the high schools that we do their band door every year. This is like the 6th year we've done it. So this is what's going to go on their band door. Actually, it's a set of double doors, so it'll be wrapped and up there for the season. And then I'm also working on some designs for some more photo booth wraps. This one's going to a dress venue that'll be in the dress venue for the next year for one of my customers. And then I've got to find another thing here. Hang on. Yeah. It's another one I got to work on some more. You know what? Actually, let me toggle back over to... I will be right back. Okay. So what about you guys? What all is going on with you? Any fun projects? Or is everybody just hanging out as well? Hopefully my audio is still coming in okay. Notice that I've dropped my mic. I would not want a leaking basement. Chilling. You're not doing a bunch of embroidery on those caps? I've got some more coming up, but I haven't been promoting that stuff at all lately. Haven't had the time either. It's gotten busy doing other stuff. How long does it take to print a wrap? Kind of depends. It depends on what we're wrapping. Yeah, I don't know if you follow us on Facebook. That's really my most active media page, is our Facebook page for the business. You just do a search for NovoWorks. But actually here I can bring this up and show you. This is probably this is one of our more recent ones that's pretty large. So let me bring that up for you. Boom. There we go. So we just got done with this wrap yesterday, which is a pretty big vehicle. It's one of the Transit 250s, extended length. So that one took about 2 days worth of printing, not full time, but 2 days worth of printing, and then another day of lamination and trim. And then once we got the van in, we actually got it in on Tuesday, like early evening, like late afternoon. It was like 4 o'clock, 4:30. And then we just started taking things apart and kind of prepping it. And then we started wrapping it on on Wednesday. And then finished it up yesterday afternoon. Wrap lasts, so here in Texas, which is not the best place for wraps to last a long time, Usually, like in the case of this one will be parked outside pretty much all the time. It's too big. They don't park it in the garage, right? So this will be outside pretty much all the time. You'll probably start to have some sun failure on the top surfaces, like, you know, along that top edge of the roof and then that area above the windshield. Any of the high spots, basically, that are exposed to the most UV or the most sun as it's parked. Those will start to present issues typically within 3.5 years. And then, you know, if they're smart, they'll bring it back to us and let us rewrap those areas, and they'll probably get another 1.5 2 years out of the rest of the wrap. That's pretty standard. You can get up to 5 years typically. We would normally suggest, you know, the second you start to see any minor failures, getting those addressed sooner than later, because if you wait too long, and we've seen plenty of vehicles that way, where it takes us days to remove, and it's worse on the paint. So you're better off the second you start to see issues coming in is address them as soon as possible, and it'll cost you the least amount and look the best. Yeah, so here's the graphics for that one right there, which we're about to do another one probably next week or the week after. So I got to start printing this one come this next week and get it ready for the second van. And then we've got to finish. Oh, Rye, you saw I was working on that Versa, that little Nissan Versa earlier this week. I think it was Monday. She only let me have the car for that partial day, and then she needed it for work. So I'm getting it back Monday, so we should finish that job up on Monday, where we got to do the back part, basically the rear bumpers, the hatch, and then that back section. So if I get a chance, I might go live with that on Monday. My problem is the camera, you know, my M50, I'm just still using the batteries. I don't have a power supply for it. So, you know, those batteries go out on me and it's kind of a pain to maintain. So I did order a power kit for it. It might be here over the weekend. We'll see. If it is, then I'll give it a shot on Monday, and hopefully it'll hold up better and give me less issues. I go back and check that print. Sun's starting to go down, so it's getting a little darker out front where that printer is. Reclaiming screens is always fun. If you don't let it sit too long, it's not too bad. All right, man, have a good one. Go get your pizza. I doubt I'll be on later, but we'll see. So take care, man. Sounds good. Oh, I'm sorry, Denise, I missed that question. How many pieces was the van? I'm assuming that's the one you're talking about. The the big section of the side, let me zoom, let me bring that image up for you again. Hang on one sec. Got to transition over to this view. Here we go. All right. So on this section, like the big section here, that basically goes up to that front door, that's 3 panels wide. And then we pre-seam those 3 panels, so we pre-lay them on top of each other. So we end up with like a 13.5 inch, or I'm sorry, a 13.5 foot long section by like 7 feet tall. And we apply that as one piece. So it's actually 3 prints. Then we have one for the front door, one for the front fender. So basically you've got 5 per side, so 10 for the sides. And then on the back there's 2. And then you've got 1 on the hood. That particular one, we didn't do any wrapping around the front. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, we actually also had 1 on the roof, on the front edge of the roof, which I can show you what that looks like again. Hang on one second. Bring that up. Here you go. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. So that was a separate piece as well. So basically you got 10 plus 2 in the back, so that's 12 plus the hood, 13 plus the top, 14. So it's basically 14 pieces. Oh, and I forgot the lower section on this particular van. So you can kind of see where his feet are, that orange section below the brake. Rather than printing that as one really high piece, I did it with less waste because that gap is like 11 inches. So I just printed the lower sides as one piece. So I installed those separate. So really there was 2 more pieces for that as well. Shade? Yeah, it was in an air-conditioned shop. It was about 72, 73 degrees. So you don't want to do that in the Texas heat. That material does not like it. Let me go check that. Looks like the print's doing okay. I just wanted to make sure I don't have it on the take-up reel, so I want to kind of keep an eye on it. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I normally wouldn't be working this late, but my wife and some friends from church went on a little girls' getaway for the weekend, so I'm just kind of hanging out. I figure I'll get some extra work done. Oh yeah, she's out of town as well. Yeah, they just left today, like about 2 o'clock. So there's only like a 2-hour drive, but sun is starting to go down a little bit. The M50 does a pretty good job. You can barely tell it's getting more duskish out there right now, but the tumbler, my NovoWorks one, here you go. Is it focusing okay? Nope. Yeah, there you go. It's focusing okay. little bit of imperfection here. This is one of the earlier ones I did. I'm gonna, oh, thank you. Let me, I'm gonna try one other quick thing here. I need to go check on this print one more time. Looking good, so luckily this microphone works from far away. So at least you can hear me, even though I can't see what you guys are saying. Don't like to rub the paper either, it makes those white spots. Yeah, I've had mixed results. Some come out great, some come out eh. It's like a lot of the designs I do now, I try and give a bit more white space down there just to help with that. If they're good with it anyhow. No, I can't hear you guys, but I can see you when it's over here. I was talking with, there's another guy, completely different industry, but there's another guy that's got a really nice setup. He goes live really pretty often. And while he's actually doing installs, not signs, he's actually a window tinner. But he's got, he streams from a GoPro, basically a GoPro 5 or 5, the most recent one. And he can actually live stream from that thing over Wi-Fi, which is pretty impressive. And then he's got a wireless lavalier mic too. And then he's got like a 50-inch screen or I think a 47-inch TV monitor set up so he can watch the stuff going on. And he's even got a plug-in that can read back audio from people's comments. I think it's only the ones that come from the admins, not anybody, but it's kind of cool. So, you know, if he's really busy doing something and there's something that needs to be looked at, he can actually hear their comments, which is kind of interesting. All right, one more sec. Okay. So what else is going on with you guys? Anything fun? Or y'all are just kind of chilling too? Need to check my oh no, I'm okay. Just got another approval on some artwork for another wrap. Oh, fun, fun. You've got a single head, right, Denise? It's a mix too, right? Hats, polos, and t-shirts and visors. Visors are interesting too because it's such a small area. Yeah, it is a lot of work when you got a single head. And it's funny too, because sometimes just to limit my exposure, not usually on bigger orders, but on smaller orders, I'll sometimes use just one head of my two head machine. Just kind of depends on how much I've got going on. It reminds me I do have an email to answer from another regular customer that wants to talk about doing some more caps. Problem right now, of course, is availability. I have to see what I have and what they want. Everybody's still catching up on that inventory. Check this again. It's a long print, so it's basically a 7-foot door, so we print almost 8 feet, 7.5 feet, and then wrap over the edges. Wonder, well, it doesn't really matter. Let me check. Oh yeah, so let me show you. I don't know if you saw the other one that we were working on this week. This is the one I was talking to Rye about. Let me bring this one up for you. For those that might not have saw it, here you go. So this is the one that we were working on Monday when Rye was watching me. But she only let us have the car for like 5 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, I think. So, and the problem was she had old graphics on the doors, so we had to remove the old, I had to remove the old graphics, remove the old adhesive, clean it, wipe it down, prep it, all that fun stuff. And then taking these mirrors off was surprisingly a pain in the butt. They're apparently bolted both from the inside and the outside, so we had to break the door panels apart. Yeah, it was anyhow fun. So this was as of the end of Monday. Now we're gonna get it back on this next Monday because she finally has time again. And then we're gonna do the rear bumpers and the back end, and then also do the hood. And then now she wants us to do the mirror caps in yellow. I'll see about doing that. If I've got the time, I'll get that done too. I guess you didn't hear when I was talking to Rye about that. You know, it's like anything else. It's how it's cared for, and then of course here in Texas with the hot sun and the UV, usually all the top surfaces, like if you got a hood done, the upper rails, like near the roof line, those spots will typically start to see sun damage here in the DFW Texas area. Usually within 3 to 3.5 years, you'll start to get some minor sun fade, or not sun fade, but sun cracking. The material will dry out. As long as we address it pretty quick and repair or replace those top sections, the rest of the wrap, if you care for it, it'll typically, and this is again parked outside all the time, then you'll typically get another year to 2 years out of it, so up to 5 years. For people that really care for their car, park inside at night, or careful where they park it, etc. during the day, you can get 5+ years out of them. I mean, I've got some customers that are weekenders, and I mean, they've been on the car for 8-9 years. My motorcycle's got wrap graphics on it that still look brand new, and it's been on over 10 years. So just kind of depends. Let me go. Let me run out and swap that material out real quick. I'll be back in a moment. And I will answer any other questions I saw when I get back. Like I said, I can talk to you guys out here, but I can't see you guys, so. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm just kind of moving one of those wrap panels for the. All right, I am back. All right, what did I miss? Hey, Quick Color, how you doing? Do they last in cold weather? Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't have, we don't deal with crazy cold. I mean, other than the crazy cold that we had here in February when it was like below zero for like almost a week. But yeah, that doesn't typically cause major issues to the wraps. Right now, this is being printed on our newer Epson S series, so it's the Epson S40600. And then I've also got the Epson or the Muto 1324 behind me here. That's the one we're kind of phasing out. The shop clean? It's not that clean. It's semi-clean. It's all relative, right? Versus ones, yeah, it's a little cleaner. or Waldo's. But there's plenty of cleaner shops, more organized shops. No, VOCs are not a problem. Especially on the Epson. The new Epson inks are phenomenal. I mean, you got to remember that, most of the solvent or eco solvent printers are using the Epson head, so Epson's always going to have the latest and greatest version of their ink and heads. The Muto behind me has got 4 generations older head on it. So yeah, their new ink definitely dries out faster. It's even if I have a solid black print on vinyl, with the Muto or even the Mamaki that was prior to that, even with the dryers drying, it's still, you don't want black on black. I mean, it still has that smell. It still has that tackiness. The Epson's, like, the second it comes off, it's dry. I mean, it's not obviously fully gassed out, but it's generally dry. Yeah, you can definitely tell it's darker in that room right now. The sun is starting to set. I don't have any lights on in any of these rooms, so except the back shop. Like I said, I'll try and go live again on Monday, probably mid to late morning, while I'm doing the wrap on this, the finishing pieces on this Spice Maid's car, the little Nissan Versa. We'll see, but that's the current plan. I've got to go out and finish doing a window perf job for a church tomorrow, but that won't take long. Yeah, the latex. Yeah, and I'm not gonna, there's pros and cons to each type, right? Doing the fact that we do a lot of wraps, and a lot of darker colors and areas that you have to do some stretching. I don't like the way that the latex sits on top of the vinyl rather than gets in the vinyl like the solvents do. You know, when you overstretch, you know, you get that color discoloration. Even if you get a color discoloration on a solvent-based print, if I hit it with heat, since it's in the vinyl and it shrinks back, you get the color back. On a latex, it doesn't. But, you know, latex has that one advantage for sure. So, but like I said, to each their own. I got friends that love them, so, you know, good for them. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can tell you that the quality I get on the Epson kills everybody I know with the latexes. I got a friend with a 365, a 315, etc. And yeah, I mean, we've done some comparison prints and there is a pretty good difference, but it depends on your business, right? Depends on what you're doing and what you're selling and what's important to your customers. So, and like anything else, a lot of customers, if they don't have something to compare it to, they're good. So, let me see if I have that. Oop. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the colors on this one, but boy, they really popped well. That's kind of not the best shot. Hang on, where's the one that I had? Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, you know, pictures only do so good. Let me bring this up. Where's my switcher? I need the third screen. There you go. So this is the one we just finished up yesterday. Big boy. And then like I said, I've got a second one coming in as well. So that one took us a little over a day and a half. I mean, including all the prep time, it was right at about 2 days. I got it in Tuesday about 4 o'clock. Basically just pulled some things, did some did some cleaning and just kind of got it basically prepped. And then Wednesday morning pulled the door handles and the last little bit of things and started doing the wrap and then finished it up yesterday afternoon about 3 o'clock. Ink cost. So the ink on these, hang on one second, because hang on, where'd it go? These are, sorry, hang on. I'm answering something else real quick. Yes. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so these are 700 milliliter cartridges, which is an interesting size. My Muto was 440s. They've got a 1 liter option, or actually it's a 1.5 liter option in the Epson, but it's like considerably expensive for what you get just for the system. So I just stuck with the 700 milliliter. 700 milliliters, regular price is 167. I get them for 150 a cartridge. So it's pretty effective because I mean, I was paying 125 for 440 on the Muto. So, you know, it's a better quality ink and it's cheaper. So, yeah, I mean, it depends on coverage and it depends on what I'm doing, right? If we're doing a sign and we're sticking it on aluminum or, you know, ACM or ultra board or something like that, we don't really care about letting it out gas, right? So on this printer, I mean, typically I'll lay them out and we'll laminate them within 30 minutes to maybe a couple hours. Just kind of depends on how much print production we've got going on. And then we can stick them right away. Where if we're doing like contour cut labels, quote unquote, right? You know, like graphics. For somebody, let's say they want like a 4-inch contour cut, which we just did 1,000 of them for one of our customers. We'll normally let that gas out for a day. I mean, you know, overnight, just because we're going to cut it to the edge, and you know, you don't want a little bit of curl, etc. We want to make sure it's pretty gassed out. And then the same on wraps. Wraps, honestly, I'm not usually in a huge rush on those. I usually schedule them out. So typically I'll let those degas for 24 to 48 hours, not because I have to, it's just, I just do. And then we'll laminate and trim them or contour cut if we need to. Like this one had a couple contour cuts on it, but and it, you know, it depends which material you're printing on, right? And what laminate you're using, or if you're even laminating, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, on wraps specifically for a vehicle, when we're laminating with, you know, good cast product, that's what I was referring to. We'll normally let it go for between a day and 2 days. Again, not because we necessarily have to, but I'd rather be safe. And I typically schedule out past our print production date by 2 to 3 days. So I might as well take advantage of that. Let's take a look at where this one's at. Excuse me. Yeah, again, if you haven't hit our Facebook page, that's probably where I keep the most active as far as posting some of the stuff that we do. Obviously we don't have time to take pictures of everything, but that's where we post that stuff the most, and it's under NovoWorks. So, all right, Denise, you have a good one, and good luck on the project, and you have a blessed night as well. Take care. It's interesting. I just noticed in YouTube Studio that it shows a chat rate, and it's like 0. Not terribly active, I guess. I don't normally have high chats. Stream looks healthy. I guess everything's going okay. Quick color, are you talking about for vehicle wrap specifically? I mean, in general, no. I mean, we use a total mix. I mean, a lot of calendared, obviously. On vehicle wraps, or vehicle graphics, there's definitely some calendared that we use, some higher end calendared. It just depends. Like, matter of fact, I just printed some for a customer's trailer today that it wasn't really in his budget to do cast. He didn't really need a long life. He only wanted, you know, maybe a year or 2 out of it. So we used a mid-level Arlon calendared, and we'll actually laminate that with a matching calendared laminate. So not crazy cheap, but more cost effective than the higher end cast stuff. So. There's one nice thing with the new printer. I haven't done it yet, but you know, we've had a couple of vehicles in the past where it's like, man, there's like a panel that 54 is just not quite enough material, right? Or maybe a hood even. Some of the new hoods on some of these vehicles, you know, both dimensions are over 54 inches. So it's like, okay, well, we can't do this in one piece. Now, obviously, doing color change, which we still do some of those, we're using 60-inch rolls, so that's not a problem. But now, at least, I've got the option of using the 60-inch material, so I'll probably end up picking up a roll. I just haven't decided whether or not I'll go with a higher end cast material for when we do wraps or not. Probably will, because that's really the only time I think we're going to need the bigger size. On those other projects where they're good with calendared, we can panel and it's not a problem. But you know, when you're doing certain panels or certain big pieces, especially again hoods and certain roofs, it'd be nice to just do those in one long piece rather than having to do any seams. About my CNC, you talking about the router? I'm assuming, did you watch the videos on my page about that? There's a couple projects that I posted. One of them showed how I built that system to lower it down from the ceiling. When I was in my shop, didn't have to do that. I had tons of space. But if you're not familiar with that whole story, we were moving into a space 2.5 times larger than what we had for the last 15 years. And we spent 2 months remodeling and moved in the middle of March of 2020. So we were hit with COVID immediately thereafter and did like $400 in sales in April. And long story short, they let us out of the lease. I had to gut my home office, gut my home garage, and get 2 storage units and move everything home. So that's where I am right now after 16 years in a shop. So it's been interesting. So because of that, that's why I did what I did, and I kind of made that routing table much simpler, and it's really just on a platform now. And then why I hung it from the ceiling out of the way so that I can still use that space to do other things. But anyhow, it's a Shipoko XXL. If I were buying something new today, it'd be a pain because now you have to wait, but there's other units I'd buy over it for similar money. That I believe are better units. And if you wanted to go a little bit larger, I'd recommend even something a little different that's still not bad price-wise. But again, right now it suits my needs. It does most of what I need. Most of my machining is individual letters or smaller pieces. That unit can machine up to like 31 inches by 32 inches. And I typically don't even go that large. I typically stick more in like the 24 by 24 kind of size table. Although I have done longer, thinner signs in there, like, you know, 5 foot long, but by 12 inches high. And I can actually table or panel that when I do the machining. So that works as well. Expound. What do you mean? What do you want information on specifically? Okay, yeah, so a 4x4. I mean, again, it's going to kind of depend on your budget. But for a 4x4, I honestly, what I would look at, if you're not familiar with them, is CNC for Newbie. And here, I'll post a link to their site, and hopefully it'll come through. Let me know if it does. But they have some great options that are really cost effective. They've got a Pro series, and then they've got a new series, their HSNC, which is their high speed. It's really quick. It's still got some great stability. It'll do the work that you're probably going to want to do with it really well, with a pretty small footprint, and you can get into it for like less than $3,000. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I want to say, or no, maybe it was a little over 3 with everything. Yeah, with this, let's see, with the spindle, The controller at a 48 by 48, it is 3,300. So 3,300 plus shipping. The only problem is you've got a bit of a wait on all these, and this is just one of the companies I'd recommend. But for this size, this is probably the way I would go for the budget you've got. Like I said, you could step up to their Pro or their new Carve. They've got a couple different options, but honestly, I would go with that high speed unless you've got the budget for the Pro. I mean, if I had the need to go that size now, that would be the unit I'd get. Although it's probably a month to 2 month wait. For one more in the size of what I have in the Shapeoko, there's another company that I would recommend. It's just a phenomenal system. It's super easy to put together, real easy to maintain, real rigid, and it costs about the same as the Shapeoko, and I'm really impressed with it. So that's the way I would go if I were looking at like the Shapeoko. Oh yeah, Corrode MDF, no problem. I mean, I do. I mean, those are better than my Shapeoko. They've got more capability than my Shapeoko. And my Shapeoko, I mean, I do MDF, I do wood, I do foam core, PVC, you name it, and it's never a problem. Obviously, if you're doing half inch wood or thicker, then, it certainly does it. You're just going to have to use, steps, right? Start at one depth and then do your pass, work to the next step, etc. And I use V-Carve to create all my tooling paths and all my stuff. I do all my basic design work actually in Flexi. So just because it's, I've got 15 plus years of experience in it. So I do all my vector design work mostly in there for the patterns. And then I just import that into V-Carve, create my tooling paths and output it. And then I go and run it on the Shapeoko. Yeah, so space is a challenge. Like I said, I mean, if you need the 4x4, look at that unit. If you can get away with something a little smaller, more in this size frame, then I can give you another one to look at. Hang on one second. Got to answer this real quick. Gotta love it when customers hit you on Facebook and you got to answer. Well, you don't have to, but some of these are my regular customers, so I pretty much have to. Let's see. All right. Okay, sorry. All right, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. So the system I'd recommend in that case is the Onefinity. Here's the link to that one. It's really impressive. It's going to be a long wait right now for it, but it's an amazing system. I don't really care about using their driving software. I'd still stick with using my own software to drive it, but it's there and it's built in, and if you want to do it, that's great. And one of the cool things with their design is you can do some pretty amazing things with it because of the design. It's ball drive, screw drive instead of belt drive like the Shapeoko and the other cheaper ones. So you can actually mount it vertically. So you can mount it on a wall, for example, and do your machining, which is pretty impressive if you've got the wall space. I don't have the wall space here, so that wouldn't help me much. I'd still probably do a ceiling mount, but it's impressive nonetheless. They also have a new, let me see if I can find it. They also have a new table. Let me find it for you. That's a YouTuber actually that did the eval, and the first of the units did this design, and then they took it and modified it and did their own version, and it's really impressive. It's basically a flip top table, so it stores this way. Takes up, maybe 18 to 24 inches of depth with the table, the work table, the unit, and everything, and then it just flops down. You slide it out, flop it down when you need it, or you can just leave it wall mounted. I mean, there's even a wall mount kit for it. I'll send you here. I'll post a link. So that talks a little bit about it, and that's to their, you can look at their YouTube page for more videos too. All right, I'll be right back. All right, just unloading this last half of this wrap wall for the wall, doors, whatever. Okay, let's see here. Okay. All right, I am back. Oh, okay, so you got a 4x8 work table. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, mine's a 5 by, well, actually, I resized mine. Mine's a 5x8 right now, but I've got a flip up 30-inch extension on it for when I need it. But right now, in the space I'm in now, it's a little tight, so. Which units are you talking about? You can look on their Facebook group too. There's one for both of those companies, and they've got a little bit more information on what their ETAs are and what the weights are. I will say that on the Onefinity, it's like 2+ months right now, so the CNC for newbies is a little quicker, depending on which model. Yeah, yeah, the Onefinity. I want to say they were up to 3 months right now. Like I said, take a look on their Facebook group. They had they kind of had some rough updates on that. Let me go back and look. I can see. Let's see. Because what happens is you'll have people post and say, "Hey, I was order blah 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 number blah blah blah, and mine just shipped, and that was like 2.5 months ago, or whatever it was." Yeah, number 15309 in the house an hour ago in upstate New York. So when did he order it? He didn't say. Congrats. Here, I'll ask him real quick when he ordered. Let's see if he gets back with me. But yeah, just do a search for Onefinity CNC, and there's a group for it. Mine is the really old version that they had. I forget the company that actually made it, but it was sold under the Sign Warehouse brand. But I mean, I've had that since 2008. Um, so the newer ones aren't built the same, different manufacturer. I didn't seem to care for the newest ones as much, but the pricing's still decent. Although if you keep an eye out, you can find a deal on some of the bigger company good laminators. There was, gosh, somebody just had, now granted it was smaller, it was a 55 inch. Somebody just had one in Oklahoma for like 3 grand. That was only like a year and a half, 2 years old, and that was like a $7,000, $7,500 laminator. So I was so tempted, but it's like I don't need it and I don't have the extra space right now, so I didn't bother. But that was one of the seals, so it was a pretty damn good deal. And you can get the seal 54. I think they've gone up. Or no, it's a 54 EL, 54 EL. It was a 54 EL is what it was. So the 54 EL is like 75 to 8,000. And he was selling it for like 3,500 bucks, and it was only like 2 years old. So, and it looked perfect. It was really tempting. Because those are super lightweight laminators. They're a third the weight of mine. Way easier to work with. Has pretty much all the same capabilities that mine has. I mean, I've got a couple friends that have had the 54 ELs and the 65 ELs. And the 65 ELs about 8,500 bucks. But you know, if you don't need the heat, you know, why spend the extra almost $10,000 on the heat? Oh, okay. I'm trying to think if I have a picture. I can't really post it in here, but I don't know. I do. I'd have to go back and hunt for it though. But anyhow, yeah. Mine's the 65 inch. It is a beast though. I remember getting it out of the truck. We had a neighbor with a forklift, and he could of course only lift one end, so we had two of us on the other end putting all our strength on it just to kind of hold it up and lower it out of the truck. Of course, when I unloaded the Epson, it was the same dang thing. We had four of us to unload the Epson printer. That thing's a beast compared to my Muto. The Muto, two of us can carry no problem. Yeah, I mean the heated laminators actually do laminate way better. It's a cleaner, nicer lamination process, but it's not a required thing. So, you know, is it worth an extra almost, you know, over double the price typically, or almost double the price? I haven't. I haven't had the need, and like I said, I've been doing lamination since '08. It's getting quite a bit darker in here. I guess the camera's still doing okay. Guess, yeah, from my preview it looks all right. Did my laminator come apart from the base? No, no, it doesn't, because it's all chain driven in the sides. So no, it doesn't. It was all together. If I remember right, it was on a pallet. Yeah, it was. It was on a pallet, like one of those double length pallets. Same as the Epson, except the Epson was actually enclosed too. Now my Muto, that from here up is separate from the base. And actually, truly, the Epson was too. But it takes four people to lift it up on the base. They actually give you these steel rods that are like 5 feet long that go through the printer, and then you got a person on either side holding it on each end of the printer to lift it up. Yeah, here you go. This is not my picture. See if it works for you. Again, that's not my picture, but that's pretty much my machine. And you can see it doesn't separate. That link work for you? Yeah, here's a side view. Kind of crappy shot of it, but you get the general idea. Okay, yeah, that's the one I've got. I got it when I got my first Muto 1304 and my Graphtex 7000. I think it was a 7000. So again, that was back in 08. Funny thing is, I just sold that Graphtec like a couple months ago to somebody out of San Antonio, and they drove up and paid me $2,500 for it. So still worked flawless. Well, I am mostly caught up with what I have to do or decided to try and get done today. So I may finish this up for now. Might do a little bit of laminating and finishing tomorrow. Not that I have to, but that's one advantage of quote unquote moving home is it's like I can do stuff like this and work whenever, and so I'm getting a lot more work done actually when I need to. Just a little unusual and tricky to do the larger wraps like that van. So in that case, I've got a friend that has another shop up in about 20 minutes from me, and another air conditioned shop like we had. So, and he doesn't really use that area. He doesn't do many wraps, so I can go out there and do the bigger jobs there, and then the smaller ones I can fit here. Oh, okay, no problem. If you want, if you've connected on my Facebook page, on the NovoWorks Facebook page, since I can't get anything from you here, you can either email me or you can just message me through the Facebook page, and I'll be happy to continue a conversation with you. Or if you find the picture, just shoot it over to me. But for now, I am going to head out. So everybody have a good one. And like I said, I may pop on again over the weekend, but if not, I may try and go live on Monday, midday to prior to lunch when I'm working on that Versa wrap. So for now, I will see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye. Easier to say goodbye than go.